trying to figure out how to start this video. Whew, don't want to be too serious. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Titi, and if this is your first time seeing me on your screen or stopping by on my channel, it is very nice to meet you. You are welcome. And if this is not your first time, or one, or two, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome back. Today's video is more of a really different video. I'm actually quite excited for this one because it's a little different from what you all are usually used to seeing on my channel. It's just really just talking and gisting and getting you guys' opinions because I feel like we learn a lot from each other. So yeah, I'm going to be bringing random topics and just talking about them on my channel. And if it's your cup of tea, then by all means make sure to keep on watching. If you're not really interested in videos like this, then please just wait for the next makeup tutorial. But if this is your cup of tea, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and also comment what your thoughts on this particular topic is. I don't want to talk too long in this video either, so if I do go longer than you expect, I'm really sorry. The topic today is talking about balance in life general. So I was talking in relation to having schoolwork as kind of the primary thing that a lot of people like myself who moved from a country to another country have moved from Nigeria to Canada for school. And I was just talking about how people are able to balance schoolwork with having a regular job, like actual work, and maybe like social life, relationships, and if you're religious, to having to be able to balance like your religion into pretty much your day-to-day life. So just speaking from personal experiences, like my own experience, it was really hard. I was underage when I moved from when I moved from Nigeria to Canada. I was 15. I had just turned 16 when I moved, and it was such a culture shock. I can't even speak English. It was a culture shock for me. It was a lot to have to deal with because first I had to deal with the weather, which is like a huge thing. The weather difference was insane. And then I had to deal with the school systems being kind of different, and lecturers being kind of different from lecturers back home. So it was I had to adapt a lot. And I feel like throughout the process of adapting to the new system and everything, a lot of things in my life actually got dropped by the wayside. And when I mean dropped, I mean I didn't focus on a lot of things when it came to my schoolwork. I was just focused on school. African parents will tell you, school is not the time to make friends. It's not the time to make friends. You have to go there and read your book. So I was that person. I was like, first of all, like I came in, ready to read because I had to pass my classes to be able to get into the course that I wanted to. So it was like, really no time for friends, no time for new friends. So I was just here trying to hustle my way through this school life and make sure I passed my classes. I think the aspect of my life that really got dropped by the wayside was my social life. I had no social life. And when I mean social life, I'm not capitalizing on just partying or always going out, but just even having time to take care of myself. Like self-care was something that I didn't even, how do I put it? I didn't put like a lot of priority into. And growing up now, and like now that I'm done with school and just living my life now, it's something that I wish I had looked into a little more, just because the side effects of not having a social life back in school is kind of catching up with me right now. I'm at this point where if people invite me out, like I would always want to find a reason to like cancel. And even if I can't find a reason to cancel, it's always like until I actually really get out of my house, I'm just like not in the mood to go out. I feel like that's something that's coming or stemming from the fact that I'm not used to having that type of life. I didn't have a good balance between every aspect of my life, like even health wise. I mean, I'm young, so thank God there's not really a lot of diseases or ailments that I'm worried about. But at the same time, like regular checkups and things like that, like I could have done or I should have been doing in school. And even now it's hard for me to like focus on things like that because I'm not used to that. Like I'm not used to going to a doctor and saying, oh, check out like every part of my body to make sure it works the way it's supposed to work. If I wake up and I feel fine, I'm good. But then we all know that like illnesses and things like that don't even show up in broad daylight, and then you hear like 5 years like down, or 5 months down the line, what am I saying, years, 5 months down the line, that, oh, apparently you've had this thing growing in you for a long time. So I feel like that's something that now I'm trying to be more cautious of it. Like I'm trying to, go out more. I'm trying to put myself out of my comfort zone, because staying that long within my comfort zone has just made me so comfortable that when it gets to the point where like I really need to go out, sometimes I would be praying, oh Lord, please let there be an excuse to cancel. And when there's one, I'm just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna cancel. So I'm not even trying to fight like for the thing to happen. I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna cancel. That's probably a really long intro, but I just wanted to put like a context to the topic. I was just thinking about this for my back to school like video for you guys, because a lot of people are going back to school, but not just school, like a lot of people are going back to work and probably having a hard time balancing a lot of things. Like I currently don't go to school right now, but I do have a business that I run, and I'm also like a full-time worker, both like for my job as well as in church. So it's like trying to balance those three things, which wasn't even as much as I had when I was in uni, but trying to balance those three things now, I'm just like stressed all the time. I'm frustrated and so tired. I'm always complaining every weekend something's happening, like someone's leaving the city, someone's, having a birthday. So we always have to be celebrating things. And I don't want to be in that situation. Like for me right now, I'm just like catching myself in those thoughts where I'm socially lazy. I did post this as a question to both Instagram as well as Snapchat, and I received a lot of responses. I do want to say thank you for those responses. Like I wasn't expecting that many, but I received a lot of responses. I'm going to be sharing like some of them on this video today, because I feel like a lot of people do have this concept of balancing a lot of things down. So it would be nice, because I did learn a lot, and it was the learning process for me this last couple of days. So I wanted like bring that those answers and those responses back to you guys, and just let you guys know that we might be struggling, to get it together. Like we might be struggling. There were a lot of responses saying, yo sis, let me know when you figure it out, let me know. And now I'm letting you know that this is how some people have it down. So yeah, let's learn from, our peers. Let's learn from other people's experiences as well as our own. All right guys, so I just opened up the responses I got on Instagram, and I'm just going to kind of summarize a lot of things that people said. So one of the main themes that was kind of going around throughout like everybody's responses was prioritizing things.
I would say first of all, I had to prioritize. I had to know what was important for me at every stage and every step of the way.
In as much as we're trying to gain balance, I feel like it's also kind of sensible to understand that you can't possibly do a lot of the things at the same time. When I mean at the same time, I don't mean like, oh, well, I can't run a business if I'm in school. I'm an argument to that. That's not the point. But what I'm saying is that not like you can't do it at the same time, but I mean like at every given moment in time, there's something that needs to be on top of the other things that you have to balance. Like today's a Sunday, I'm filming this video. The thing that's on top for me is, well, I have to go to church. So I do have regular work, and I also have the makeup thing that I'm doing as well, the makeup business. But today being a Sunday, if anything else was coming in and like, trying to be in the way of church, it would kind of be like, well, if I had to choose one, it would definitely be church. So that's why I mean, like, you always have to prioritize at every given point, because you would always get to a point of conflict with all of your things that you need to balance. And then the question to yourself needs to be, okay, if I let one go, which would have the most impact? So I feel like just being able to set your priorities right is the number one and pretty much the only key to balancing everything. So somebody said here, prioritize right now what's the most important and focus on that. Create time and cut the bullshit out of your life. Main message here is just prioritize a lot of things, feel me? Prioritize everything. Something that helps with making like, your list of things that you need to do, and then helping you to prioritize is also a planner. Like invest in a good planner. A lot of the time people will be like, oh well, we're moving away from the paper age and moving into the age of, computers and laptops and phones that can pretty much do things for you, like smart devices, right? And as much as I agree with that, I completely save the trees, don't waste paper. I still feel like if you're going to have a notebook of any sort, you need to have a planner. Oh my god, when I was in school, my planner changed my life. If I had known what I knew in my third year, in my first year, yo, I would have done way better in school than I actually did. Now I didn't fail or anything, but you know your potential as a person, and that's why most of the time, like, we try to, overbook ourselves and do everything because we know, like, oh, me, trust me, I'm gonna do this. I'm sign me up for all the events on Saturday. I'm gonna do it. But then we overstress ourselves and, like, we stretch ourselves too thin to the point where after everything you don't even gain the satisfaction of doing as much as you've done. So what I did in my third year was I went out. Actually, I didn't do it myself. My sister actually got me this planner for Christmas, and I feel like that's the best gift she's given to me because that's one of the only gifts she's given to me. I started writing everything down. This was in 2017. I think I got my first, I was say it was my first planner, but like my first planner that I actually utilized. Oh my God, it changed my life. And this year, just to show you, I actually went out and got my own planner. And this was for 2018, 2019. When people ask me, like, oh, what's up? How's your this day? I'll tell them, oh, I need to check my planner. Like, I need to check my schedule. And this is my schedule. And I carry this book everywhere with me. So immediately, like, something comes up, I can easily check and be like, oh, okay, these are the other things I have to do. This thing that's coming up now, how important is it compared to these other things? Because one mistake that a lot of people will make is double booking themselves or triple booking themselves, and you get yourselves into a situation where you technically can't get out. So it's a conflict, like an internal conflict for you to have to stretch yourself that much. So my planner really changed my life. Like, y'all should invest in a good planner. I'll leave the link for this one down in the description if you guys are interested in picking up the same one. I use a monthly planner as well as a daily planner. So it plans my month, like it has a calendar for the entire month, but it also has like information about the week as well, which is important. And this actually helps me to plan my goals as well, things that I'm, aspiring to do, kind of like goals that I want to reach. And I just feel it's perfect. Just plan your life and get it together. Someone else responded, to be honest, I just always get overwhelmed, but then my organization skills is low. When your organizational skills are low, yo, you that's all I'm gonna say. Like, I have my to-do list and 4 activities I'm involved in, so I can do them when I can. Like right now I'm struggling between going to uni and gym, and I can't find the perfect way. But I like to just plan instead of giving up. Actually, but like I just plan to, instead of giving up, actually keep going even if it's twice a week. I would say that as, okay, balancing schoolwork as well as your personal self-care time. And because the gym is pretty much self-care, and me personally, I have like personal experiences with going to the gym, and this is a topic for another day, to be honest. But what I'll just say about that is this person raised a very good point, saying that even if you won't go as much as you want to go, you should still go. Even when I started going to the gym religiously, because I won't say I've never been to the gym before. I was always in the gym. When I wanted to lose weight, I was always in the gym. Even when I didn't want to lose weight, I've always just been in the gym. But I never went consistently. All because, oh, once I go today and I can't make it tomorrow, it's like, okay, well, reset. We have to start again another month where we can, put in the work. But then every other month and every other month, we're just deferring and deferring and deferring. And it gets to a point where, like, you just lose interest. But even if you're just going once a week or twice a week, it's better than not going at all. And you just make sure, like, when you get there, you actually put in the work. At least you just moved. So I guess what I'm trying to say in essence is that when it comes to things that you feel like, oh, I can't do this because, I don't have the time to or whatnot, you can always make time for things. Like, I have people who would tell me, especially like with relationships, oh, I don't have time for a relationship right now. Heck, I'm one of those people. And if we're trying to be honest with each other here, if you're trying to wait till you have time, you will never have time. Let's be frank, because you're going to just keep adding on and adding on a lot of things that, will eat up your time. So instead of trying to look for the time, just try and squeeze the thing in. Like, you can always, I mean, maybe not relationships, I don't know, depends on you. To each their own. These days, I'm being open to, like, just going out impromptu, like, oh, we're at home. Do you want to hang? Okay, let's go to something. So just being able to open up like that, like getting myself out of my comfort zone, is mainly the thing. So if your problem is going to the gym because, you don't think you can go as much, the gym is a personal thing, no guy. Like, you ain't going there for nobody else except you. So if you can only make it once a week, fam, make it once a week. If you can only make it twice a week, please, by all means, make it 2 times a week. If you're always sitting down and waiting for that time to show up, that okay, 4 days just magically freed themselves up, I can go to the gym for 4 days, it's not going to happen. Even if you're on vacation from work or school, there's still things that would still eat up your time. So just do it, okay? Above all, I'll say it's discipline, management, and commitment. Exactly. I feel like those were the common themes in all of the answers that I received. Like, when you're committed to something or when you have a passion for something, like, it's really hard for you to not create time for that thing or to not find the time to be able to do that thing. So I'm just going to read my favorite ones from Snapchat. And this one says, this one was actually particularly funny to me because she's my friend. So when she said it, I was like, oop, scheduling everything and everyone. That hit me. That really hit me. Setting reminders to check up on specific friends, praying for favor with my bosses, figuring out my brain peak time so I can study then. This person is in the third year of university and has two part-time jobs, which me, two part-time jobs equate to one full-time job. Like, that's how the math is in my head. And doing school full-time, and I still slack sometimes and feel bad because I feel bad whenever a friend plans an event and I can't make it or I forget sometimes. So I'm here scheduling like events, scheduling, business stuff, scheduling work stuff, scheduling like church stuff. But I also need to be able to schedule friends. So now my planner is going to have like an extra section to schedule. Okay, let's go hang out with this person, or let's check out on this person, just check up on this person. And one thing she mentioned here was that she felt bad when she like would miss something from friends and stuff. And I feel like if anyone is truly your friend, they will understand. Like, now it might be, depending on what you missed or forgot about, it kind of varies. Like, if I invite you to my wedding, you now come and go and forget. Are we really friends? And I mean, also depending on the type of relationship you have with said person. So like, if my best friend forget, I can't even, it doesn't make sense in my head for my best friend to forget my wedding. Like, I don't get it. It's not sinking in. But like, depending on the level of friendship this person thinks they have with you or you have with this person, it could also hurt. But ultimately, like, you're all friends, you should be able to speak to your friend and tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this is what happened, I was busy, I got caught up. It shouldn't be a do or die, to be honest. So I won't say like do it on purpose and actually forget people's birthdays, or like don't hang out with people on purpose, because that's just okay. Why do you have friends? But at the same time, if you forget, it's not something that I would say they should lord upon you or like be mad at you for extended periods. You get me? This answer really resonated with me. Like, it actually sunk in deep with me. And this person said it's difficult to compensate the entire workload with school, work, side projects, etc. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, it has to be done, which is the truth. Like, when you come to that realization that if you don't do it, it's not going to get done, a lot of things will start happening. It's good to realize your strengths and ask for help. Note it down, or talk to people, example, mentors, friends, and parents. Let's just stop there for a minute. A lot of people, for some reason, do not like to ask for help. I'm number two because I would say I used to be number one, but I'm changing. I'm number two. I hate to ask for help when I'm cooking. Like, if my friends are there and I'm cooking for my friends, I've had friends who will come into the kitchen. I'm like, nah, never mind. Go sit down. Go sit down. I don't like to ask for help, but I'm getting to this realization that I can't do everything, fam. I can't. So when it comes to, especially like people's strengths, like when I know, okay, there's a friend who likes cutting onions. She's so good at cutting onions, man. When she's cutting the onions, her eyes are not even tearing up. Me, I'm here crying. But when she's cutting it, just cut. If I'm in the kitchen and that kind of friend wants to help me, I'm getting to that point where I can easily be like, okay, yeah, babes, take the knife, take the onions, please chop them up. No man is an island. So we just need to be like, we need to get to the point where we're comfortable to ask for help. Now, what you're asking for depends on you. Honestly, there's certain things that I personally won't ask people for. There's certain things that I won't ask random people for. But if it's just like something as simple as cutting onions while you're cooking, get it together. You need to be able to ask for help and also speak to people who have done what you're doing before. This is like a no-brainer. I know most of the things I'm saying here today sound cliche or sound like, oh, everybody always says this, but if you think about it deep down, that's actually what works. And if you ain't broke, there's no need to fix it. So if it works when you speak to mentors and people who have done the same kind of business that you're doing, or who have the same job, maybe speak to like a nice co-worker about how they're, balancing everything else in their life because you can't seem to get it together, that would actually go a long way into helping you. Like, I have people at work that when I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling, overwhelmed, I would actually go speak to said people and be like, okay, babes, this is exactly what's going on. I'm just done. And sometimes it just helps to talk about things, like not even just expect a response. They might not respond, or they might not even like have an answer for you, but just the mere fact that there's someone there to talk to is also kind of therapeutic. If you're religious, it's also good to pray because God comes through every time. And I agree every single time. But for me, I'll make emphasis in patience, vulnerability, collaboration, discipline, and dedication. Let's count it again: patience, vulnerability, collaboration, discipline, and dedication. And the two main things that stood out for me there is patience and vulnerability. Like a lot of the time, people don't like to be vulnerable. I'm number two again because I'm trying to change from being number one. I don't like to be vulnerable. It goes into the same like sphere of not wanting to ask people for help because you feel like you're going to be vulnerable and you're going to kind of be, how will I put it, you're kind of at the mercy of that person. But then sometimes you have to be okay with just being vulnerable, just to be able to help you, help your career, help yourself, help you balance things out. If you need to ask for help, if you need somebody to help you out with something, be vulnerable enough to ask for that help. Things can waver, some may not work, but you have to understand or realize when to stop or redirect your energy to other plans or something else. That is major key. Like, I mentioned earlier that we always think the best of ourselves, which we should. You think the most of yourselves, which you should. Like, hon, if nobody's going to hype you up, you better be hyping up yourself. We're already wired that way to believe the best for ourselves. Like, you know your limits, you know what you can do. And most of the time, if everything is working correctly, you should never have that feeling of, oh, I can't do this, or oh, I'm not equipped to do this, or all this, or that. Even when you know, like, okay, I possibly don't have like, the equipment to be able to do this right now, or I don't have the skills to be able to do this right now. It's never a feeling of, oh, I'm down, or I'm just, depressed or whatnot immediately, except like I mentioned, when everything is going right. It's never that feeling that comes first. The feeling that would come first is the feeling of, oh, okay, well, I don't have the qualifications for this right now. I'm going to go get the qualifications for this. That's usually what comes first. That's usually what's supposed to come first. And the only issue with that is when you get to a point where you've already hyped yourself up so much about this particular thing that seemed so easy. But then going into it, it's like, okay, well, this wasn't as easy as I thought. I actually can't do this in conjunction with other things, or I actually can't even do this, period. I feel like as humans, we get to that point where it just like stresses us out to the point where it's like, okay, we need to definitely be able to do this. We need to definitely be able to do this because we said we could do it. So definitely we should be able to do it. And we forget the fact that we're humans and not robots, and we technically can't do everything. Even robots can't do everything. So technically, what I'm saying is that even though it's something that you believe you can do, right, in your head, if the actuality of things, if like when you're doing it isn't working out, you need to get to a certain point where you know that, okay, I need to kind of redirect my energy here because this thing I'm doing isn't working out. Also, take time for yourself and always remember why you started or why you're doing exactly what you're doing. So, taking time for yourself, like I mentioned, that's my number one downfall. Is like I don't know how to make time for myself. And these days I'm just, starting to get into the habit of saying, "Oh, sorry, I can't make it. I have plans." What do you have planned? Check my planner. Netflix. Like, you need to be able to take time to just say, okay, I'm going to stay at home and do nothing. I'm going to stay at home and relax. Because it looks like you're doing nothing. And if you're anybody like me, like lying down on the bed and just watching Netflix, in my head, I'm like, you can be washing your brushes right now. You can be doing this right now. You can be sending that wedding contract right now. You can be doing this work stuff right now. You can be doing this. Like, my head just keeps going. But being able to shut up those voices and say, no, we're going to sit here and finish this season of Glee today. It is major key because your brain needs time off. It needs time to shut off. And these days, I don't even sleep like my complete 8 hours. I'm just like, I'm running on 5 or 6 hours of sleep usually every night. So it's like you're not even giving your brain enough time to rest while you're sleeping as it's supposed to have. So the little time you can get during the week just to lie down and just not do anything is important. So whatever you find to do that, keeps you relaxed, please by all means have a time scheduled. maybe every week to be able to do that thing, just so in the midst of all the hustle and bustle, you can actually still get yourself together. Self-care is important self, because if you die tomorrow, God forbid, your job would replace you at some point. Your school will not shut down because you die tomorrow. So please, by all means, self-care is number one. Please, I beg you, be ready to come out of your comfort zone. This is again what I was saying before. Someone like me going out and doing things, being social, has become not my comfort zone. I'm a very talkative person. If you start a conversation with me, it's very hard to shut me up. But just being able to go out and even start a conversation with someone has become something that seems like so much work for me to do. So these days I'm taking myself out of my comfort zone and going into like events with people, going out with friends, just striking conversations here and there, just so, I can keep myself out of my comfort zone of just being quiet and, not even wanting to leave my house. I think I'm going to just leave it as that. I don't think every other response I got pretty much said almost the same thing about, knowing what needs to be done and remembering like to place events and people in calendars just so you don't miss things. A lot of the things are people's responses again that I'm learning from and I'm trying to incorporate into my daily life. But I would just say don't fault it until you try it. So like pick something from this video today that you're not doing. Do something out of your comfort zone. I guess take out time. If you've been, how do I put it? If you've been putting one thing to the side and that's the thing that has been dead for a long time so that other things can kind of have growth, just make a little time, a little time for that thing that you're putting in the background. When you push things to the side, you're losing even the interest or the skills or anything else that made you start those things in the first place. So balancing life in school or anywhere, balancing life periods is hard, it's stressful, it's not fun, and it's something that has to be done regardless. So just do it. Yeah, learn from the responses we've heard today. If you have any more tips and tricks on how you balance your life right now, and you feel like you have a lot of things going on, but you still get things done, leave in the comments bar below. I would want to hear from you. I'm sure a lot of people watching this would want to hear from you too. And my advice to people going back to work or school this season is just make time for everything. Like, it might not be the most time, like going to the gym might not have as much time as going to classes or as much time as going to work, but still make the time, still try and do that thing. Don't just throw it away to one side because you might regret it in the future. I thank you all who made it to this point of the video. I do appreciate your patience, and I hope this video just wasn't me talking a lot. I hope you did learn something from it. If you did, let me know what you learned in the comment section as well. Share this video with somebody that you think needs to see this video, because I have a lot of people that I will be sending this link to. The questions will always be going up on Instagram as well as on Snapchat, so make sure to check my accounts out and follow me so that you don't miss the questions, and you can also share your responses as well. I'll see you all in my next video, God willing. Bye bye.